Did you see my first video in the must-have series? I reviewed several different treat dispensers and told you which ones were loved by the dogs on our team. Now, it's actually time for another video of this series, and this time, we're going to be helping you with biting. Now, if you're struggling with biting and you haven't watched this video, that's going to be the very next video you should watch. That video actually has 10 different tips for biting because there actually just isn't one thing that helps with biting. It takes kind of a spiderweb approach of working on multiple angles to address this unwanted, but very normal behavior. All right, today's video is going to be one of those angles, the toys. Michelle here with how to train a dream dog. Alright, today's video is all about the toys and tools that will help you decrease that pesky puppy biting. But before I get into that, let's take a moment to talk about tools versus training. It's very human of us to ask for the right tool that's going to actually make the behavior stop. And tools can make a difference. But do you know what makes more of a difference? Training. Think of it this way. You've probably been to a hair salon and you love how your hair looks when you leave, right? But what if you bought all the same tools your hairstylist used? Would your hair still look the same? I know mine wouldn't. That's because your hairstylist has had training on how to do your hair. Now, the training accounts for a lot more of the success than the tools. Dog behavior is a lot like that too. Tools play a role, but so does training. Now, that other video I mentioned can help you with the training, but today, let's get to the fun stuff, the tools and the toys. Now, I actually do have a few links to these exact products that I'm going to be talking about today. They're all in the description below. So, if you want to buy them and have them mailed to your house, I got you covered. Now I'm going to give you some great ideas for 3 different ways to address that annoying puppy biting and nipping. So the first part is addressing the physical needs, including pent-up energy and sore teeth and gums. Then we're going to actually talk about your dog's mental needs and using his brain, not just his body. And finally, we're going to talk about rest and how to get your puppy to rest and relax for a much needed nap. Have you seen this graphic in my Facebook group? I actually try to share it a lot because it seems to really help people understand this concept. So the summary is that we see a lot more unwanted behavior when our puppy's battery is really low and depleted, or if it's really high and almost overfull. The middle ground is where the sweet spot is, where you probably fall in love with your puppy all over again. Unfortunately, it can be fleeting if you have a young puppy. This gets better with time and training. But let's talk about the high end of the battery. So, your puppy gets up from a nap or comes out of the crate in the morning and she is ready to party. How in the world do we harness this energy for good and not evil? Many pups bite when they have a lot of energy and they just don't know what to do with it. It's a lot like a pinball where they're just running back and forth and trying to figure out what to do with these crazy feelings. They don't have words like we do, so they're using their mouths to explore and express themselves. Now, when you're in this time of the day, here are a few toys I think could really help you. The first one is one of my favorites, the flirt pole. Now, the flirt pole is a long pole that you can tie toys onto. This allows you to drag it around on the ground and the puppy can chase it. Now, one thing I love about this toy is that it keeps your hands away from your dog's mouth. Another thing is that it gets the dog moving. Now, another pro of this toy is that you can put so many different things on the end of it, so it stays new and exciting to the puppy. This is where you use that microscopic attention span in your favor. You might have to experiment with the flirt pole and tie a few different things onto the end of it, but your dog's gonna let you know when you found the thing. Now, my team member Allison tells us that Lincoln loves the flirt pole. He actually gets pretty excited when Allison starts to tie the toy onto it. Allison plays with this toy on the carpet because it would be hard for Lincoln to get a good grip on the tile. Flirt poles are also one of the best tools for children and puppies to play together. One note for safety: do not use the flirt pole to encourage jumping. If your puppy isn't full grown, too much repetitive movement could really damage growth plates. Now, even if you don't notice it now, the damage could show up a few years down the road. So keep the flirt pole on the ground and the puppy is gonna stay there too. Keeping it on the ground also discourages the puppy from jumping, which helps teach them good manners. All right, have I convinced you to get a flirt pole yet? Just do it, you're gonna love it. So far, so good, right? Are you loving this great information? If you really want to show the How to Train a Dream Dog team some love, give us the super thanks. We actually work really hard to deliver new videos to you each week, full of puppy training tips. This is just your way of saying thanks for the free content. Okay, the next toy I love during this puppy has a lot of energy to burn time is a long rope toy. Similar to a flirt pole, this toy keeps human hands away from the puppy's mouth. This might end up becoming a really fun game of tug too, which is fine. Tug is actually a healthy game for puppies and does not encourage aggression. Now, if you've heard that rumor, well, you've heard a myth. Tug is a natural behavior that dogs enjoy. Now, the best way to play tug is for the human to be the tug toy holder. Now, you don't want to put too much pressure on the puppy teeth, so let the puppy determine how hard to pull. Here's an important safety tip. Please don't pull your dog around with the toy. That's also not good for growing bodies. But definitely take turns holding the tug toy and then letting the dog win sometimes. You can also encourage the dog to pull the toy out from under things to make it just a little bit harder. Watch for body language that your dog is having fun and definitely do more of that. Oh, and another pro tip, if the toy is small enough, leave it in the dog food bag or the treat bag overnight so it can pick up some interesting smells. Okay, the other physical need a dog has during this time is to bite and chew. After all, the dog is losing all of his teeth and getting an entire new set, all within a few months of time. That's a lot of teeth coming and going. Now, of course, it's his natural instinct to chew and bite on things, so be sure to provide plenty of things that are okay to bite and chew, not your hands and feet. So some of my favorites are Nylabones and Benebones. Just remember, with all chew toys, you really have to evaluate your dog's chew style to determine the best one. Now, if he's a super chewer, some of these products might not be right. Most young puppies aren't yet super chewers. So if he ends up that way, once you see those adult teeth come in, I've got a video for you. But for now, most pups do really well with Nylabones and Benebones. They even have puppy ones that are just a little bit softer. Now with these toys, there are going to be tons of small bits that come off as your puppy chews. That's fine. Part of your job as the human is to always watch over toys and help keep them safe. So every time my dogs end a chew session with one of these, I actually just snip off any bits that might be hanging on. Allison reports that Lincoln really loves his blue dino from Nylabone. It actually has a chicken scent already built in, and when he had young puppy teeth, you can see it worked great. There's a different one that's white for adult teeth, but Lincoln didn't care for that one that much. Dogs have preferences too, and it's important to pay attention to them, but also watch for how preferences might change over time. So don't toss that toy out or that item just yet. Save it, reintroduce it later. And of course, I always recommend the Kong for teething puppies. They make Kongs for puppies, but I actually find them just a little too small, and sometimes the pup can't get the food out very well. So I actually like the bigger ones. I do recommend to pack the food in there pretty loosely. You can even freeze the food or just make it cold. Sometimes puppies struggle to get the frozen food out of a Kong. And if the Kong is still too hard, even with these tips, try a West Paw Topple. It's a lot easier for puppies. All that licking will also help with settling down for a nap, which I'll talk about in just a minute. Okay, let's actually talk about mental stimulation. Now, I know you've heard me say how important it is to have both mental and physical stimulation. Mental stimulation is like doing a crossword puzzle or playing Wordle, in addition to taking a walk or going to the gym. It's great to have a balance of both in your day. So, if you're seeing a lot of biting behavior and you know that your pup has had plenty of physical exercise, try doing some things for your dog's brain. Some good tools for this activity would be things like puzzle toys, where the dog has to really work hard to figure out how stuff comes out. Now, my first video in this series on treat dispensers showed you several that we really liked. I also like things you can DIY, like busy boxes, or even things like fun obstacle courses that I showed you in this video. Training is also a great brain game, and it doesn't have to be that hard. Just working on stay or place or even leash skills is going to really help your dog focus on something other than biting you. Now, in my online course, we actually have over 55 videos of fun training games you can play with your dog. One of those games is called Bump It, and we actually suggest it a lot to our students to use for mouthy puppies. Bump it, don't bite it. Now, the right time for these mental stimulation games might be more in the middle section of your puppy's battery. Now, if your dog is getting overtired or has a lot of energy, you might find it harder for him to focus. Okay, the last area where tools might help you with biting is the cool down and relaxation part of the day. I'll tell you that most of the time, when my students are frustrated with the biting behavior, it's actually happening when the dog is ready for a nap. And I mean a nap, not just a break for a few minutes. Just like toddlers, puppies aren't really good at self-regulation, and they are not so good at cooling down for a nap. This is often something that the human has to recognize in the schedule and then help the puppy transition. I actually have a video all about how to help your puppy relax, but let's talk some more about tools that can help you help your puppy. Relaxing activities could include licking, chewing, and even sniffing. So just be careful with the sniffing because that has the potential to get too exciting if the treat value is too high. During a cool down period, it's the right time to introduce things like a Kong or a Licky Mat. Now you might allow your dog to have a split antler or a bully stick for a few minutes. Now, your results may vary on this, so you're going to have to get to know your dog's chew style and choose accordingly. And if it's an ingestible chew, offer it for a very short time to make sure that it agrees with your dog's stomach. Pro tip here, they make bully sticks that are odor-free. So if I were you, I would look for those, if you know what I mean. This is a great time for some fillable toys like Kongs. My dogs experimented with a lot of different kinds, and these are some of their favorites. These cool down activities are really best done in the pen to help with the transition of your pup to the crate. So some puppies are social chewers, so if you have one of those, you might want to stay close for a while. Now you can work on getting your dog to be more independent with time and training, but if your puppy is pretty young and you're really struggling with biting, well, it might be worth your while to hang out while he's chewing, just to help him get ready for that much needed nap. Licky mats are also a great thing for dogs. You can smear something yummy on them, like homemade baby food, or yogurt, or cream cheese, or natural peanut butter. Or you could save some plain water from when you boil chicken and pour it on there and then freeze it. They actually have suction cups on the bottom, so the mat should stay in place while your dog licks. One final tip about toys in general, but especially chew toys. Rotate them so they're new to your dog. Dogs really love novelty, and you're going to have a better chance of getting his attention if the toy is something new and different. Now, I'm actually not saying you have to buy a new toy every day, but if you take a few out of rotation for a few days and then you add them back in, they are likely to become new and interesting again. Your dog probably has the attention span of a goldfish, so you can use that in your favor too. So between the flirt pole, a long rope toy, some puzzle games, fillable toys, the Kong, or a Licky Mat, which one of these do you like? Which one do you want to get first? Tell me in the comments below.